The second part of 8.2 is on complex fractions. We did this a little bit in 8.1 where we had one fraction over another, and so then we just turn that into a times d over b times c. So that's possible. That's what you could do. You could make this into one fraction, this into one fraction, and then turn it into this. Now, another way of doing these complex fractions is actually by multiplying both top and bottom by the least common denominator. Basically what you're doing there is you're turning it into just a one fraction. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at both sets of denominators and we're going to multiply by the least common multiple of all of them. In other words, we're going to multiply by xy. So I'm going to multiply by xy on both top and bottom. I'm doing this because, and I can because I'm multiplying this whole complex fraction by 1. Anything over itself is 1. When you multiply anything over itself by 1, it doesn't change. It changes the way it looks, but it doesn't change the value. So what's going to happen here is when I distribute this, I end up with xy minus y squared. Okay, because 1 times xy is xy, negative y times the x's will cancel, give me y squared. The denominator, when I multiply, will give me x plus y. Okay, because when you multiply both of these by xy, these y's cancel, leaving me with x. These x's cancel, leaving me with just y. So that's how I ended up with this denominator. And that's as simple as it gets. You cannot get any further than that. All right, let's do the same concept here. If I multiply both sets of numerators by CD and denominators by CD, and when I distribute, I end up with the d's cancel, so it gives me c squared. The c's canceled, gives me d squared. Okay, when I multiply the denominator, I get d squared plus 2cd. And that is as simple as it gets. Okay, so let's apply this to example 5 problems. What I'm going to multiply by here, as you notice, is xy. So if I multiply both top and bottom by xy and distribute, I get xy. X's cancel, so it gives me plus 2y. This one, when I distribute, I get 3x minus 4y. And again, that's as simple as it gets. There are no common factors top and bottom. This one here, we're going to multiply both top and bottom by CD. When I distribute, I end up with 1 over d times CD is just c minus d squared. What I'm looking at there is the c's will cancel, leaving me d times d. This one is just d plus 6cd. Okay. And the last one. Common denominators, xy. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by xy. When I distribute, remember that's just over 1, so I'm just multiplying the top by xy. When I do that, the y's will cancel, leaving me with x. The x's cancel, leaving me with just y. In this one, I end up with x minus y. And there I go. The last one, I have a b in the top, an a in the bottom, so I'm going to multiply everything by ab. When I distribute, I end up with the b cancels there, so it gives me a squared plus ab, and then this one is ab minus b squared. And that's the rest of 8.2.